I'll break your neck.
I'd like you to be so careless, Vera.
Yeah, the governor's not going to be pleased.
Me? I haven't spilled a drop.
Oh, we're going to have a little party, Vera. And you are going to be the guest of honor.
I wish somebody would make me the guest of honor.
It's tough when you can't even trust your own staff, isn't it? Now, I wonder what that's for.
Val. Now, I'm not quite sure how to put this, but don't take offence. But Bea Smith, the character you played in Prisoner Cell Blockade, she wasn't actually the most gentle lady in the world. Did it have any drawbacks playing such a strong character, either professionally or personally?
Well, only professionally on one occasion, when I was making a telephone call in a subterranean section of a very large interstate railway station in Melbourne. And as I went down there, there were a group of youths, about 5 of them, aging between 18 to 20. And it was very late Saturday afternoon. They were coming home from the football and they were drunk. And as they saw me, they decided to try and pick a fight with me and say things like, oh, you're very tough on television, you know, what do you like off, you're smart, so and so. I ignored them and I went to make my telephone call. And there was an answering service on, isn't there always? So I was very brief. But by the time I'd finished, they had got in the telephone boxes either side of me and were banging on the glass and getting more and more vocal and rougher, and it was frightening momentarily, but I got over that pretty quickly, and then I got angry. So I threw the door open of my telephone booth and walked up to the loudest and most vocal and said, honey, sometimes I can be a whole lot tougher. And they just melted away and I kept walking. So in that particular instance, you see, the persona of the character that I played worked for me because they were not quite sure what I was capable of.
You know what Poms think about Australians sometimes, you know, a bunch of criminals sent over there.
Yes, but they were your criminals to start with.
But is there something within the Australian persona, in inverted commas, that sort of appeals to the criminal? They think, oh, they side with the criminals.
I think what it is that everybody would like to punch authority in the nose, and that's exactly what my character does all the time. And everyone would like to do that. They'd all like to punch the taxation department in the nose, wouldn't we all? and because Bea does that, they sort of relate to that. That's the sort of thing that they'd like to sort of get into and do. So I think that sort of is a big part of the attraction of the show.
It's 6 years since you've had the adulation of the fans. What's it like to suddenly have this resurgence of almost Beatlemania about your appearances over here?
Oh, yes, that's a little frightening, actually, with the car being sort of pushed around. I have a strange feeling about that. I feel our lives are sort of not terribly long. We're not on this planet all that long. And while we're here, it'd be nice to experience most of the nice things in life. And so I got to experience a bit of fame. Thank you very much. I'm glad I got to experience it.
The telephone rings, and it's a big film producer offering you a heap of money to recreate your role as Bea Smith. What would you say to him?
Well, I've just turned down the play in exactly the same situation. So I don't think I'd do a film either. I would have done a feature of it some years ago, but I don't think I would now. I'd much rather play it someone else.
And if you could control that telephone from this wonderful film director, what would you love for him to offer you?
Oh, I'd like an original show written for me, thank you very much. A vehicle that I'm not yet aware of. I don't really wish to repeat anybody else's performance either. Except in classic plays, perhaps. But not on film, no. I'd like him to offer me the opportunity of perusing any scripts that came in and choosing the role I liked. That's what I'd like. It'll never happen, but it's a nice dream.